Greetings and welcome to TCG Casuals, the channel where we casually talk about trading card games. Today I'm just going to go on and talk about the new Susanoomon that was just announced for Digimon, I believe, just last week. No, it is not the Susano from Naruto, although we will probably eventually get that 2 years from now once the new card game releases, but that is not for this video. Today we are talking about this monstrosity of a card that I am finally super excited to have a decent Susanoomon for my hybrid deck. So let's take a quick look at him here. He can digivolve from pretty much any color for 6 cost, pretty decent for a level 7 monster that he is. 16,000 DP, I don't know if there's anything that has more DP than that in the entire game. We can actually do a very quick check. Okay, so a very quick search tells me that there is one Digimon in the entire game that has more DP than him, and that is Shoutmon. What is this? Shoutmon EX12 Superior Mode with 17,000 instead of 16,000. But yeah, this thing is quite the beast when it comes to attack power. But that is not all. If we take a look at his Digivolve, it says here, level 6 with Hybrid or Shambhala or TS trait for a cost of 5. That is a pretty good. That means it's open to basically 3 completely different decks, and it can go in pretty much anybody that can get a level 6 Digimon onto the field in a relatively easy manner. So that is in itself pretty good. But then we also have its 3 next keywords. We have Rush, we have Raid, and a Blocker. Now, Rush and Raid are, well, they fit exactly into what he is supposed to do. He's supposed to come onto the board and pretty much kill whatever is in front of him. I believe in the anime, he basically showed up and he, I believe, killed the Loosemon Chaos Mode. Not entirely sure if that was the name, but it was Loosemon, and basically ended the entire series by himself. Now, Blocker is the one keyword I am not convinced that is actually useful for him. And the reason for that is because in today's game, at least from what I can see from my friends playing, deletion, returning to the deck, or DGG evolution, or pretty much any other amount of effects are able to pretty much get him off of the field without much issue. So him having Blocker really isn't much help. I don't know if there are any of the Digimon tamers that have an inherent effect that protect him. I don't think there are. And I don't think there are any low-level hybrid trade Digimon that also provide any type of protection, which would be pretty OP. So I don't think he can last long enough on the field to use his Blocker keyword, so I'm not convinced by that one, but let's keep going. His on-play or when digivolving is extremely strong. The effect is, every single one of your opponent's Digimon will lose 3000 DP for every single color in his Digivolution stack or cards. That means that at the bare minimum, your opponent's Digimon will be losing 3000 DP, assuming you are playing at least one Digimon under him from one color. However, in pretty much the entirety of my deck, I run 3, sometimes 4, and if we are lucky, we can even use his own colors to boost this amount into all 6 colors of the rainbow. I think, except for black, it is the only color that I currently do not have in my deck, because it really doesn't work well with what I've built. But 6 times 3 is 18,000. That means that if I play him in optimal conditions, all of my opponent's Digimon will lose 18,000 DP. And as we just stated, the highest any Digimon has base is 17,000. And even if they do survive, his Rush and Raid when he comes onto the field will allow them to pretty much smack them down straight into into the trash. So very strong card. Then we're not done. When attacking and once per turn, place one of your opponent's Digimon as the top security card. Then if this Digimon has 4 or more colors in its Digivolution stack, trash their top security card. So not only have we reduced their opponent's Digimon to basically being sent to the trash due to having 0 DP, if anything survived, it is being placed on top of the security stack. This is not optional. We must absolutely do it. And then we will either remove it through a security attack or we will trash it through its own effect. So we are pretty much wiping the entire opponent's board with this guy. Now 16 may not be the highest, but there are plenty of hybrid Digimon that will increase his DP by at least 2000 or 3000, meaning that he can basically lay the smackdown on pretty much any Digimon on the game, at least the turn he comes on. Not only that, but if we do trash their top security card, we gain recovery +1. That's just a little extra bonus. Lastly, we have the Rule. Trait has the hybrid form. Hybrid goes next to the Mega, but he already has all the way over here Shaman, Shambhala, SWTB, and TS. So they probably didn't want to waste any more ink there. Probably would have been a little easier than having it hitting as it ruled down there, but whatever. And lastly, and this is the most difficult part about this card to use, Assembly -9. 8 either hybrid or Shambhala trade cards with different names. Now that important part that says different names, that is what makes this so difficult, because running 8 different Digimon that have these traits is relatively hard, especially in my deck. I am running pretty much a hybrid only deck, and based on how it's run in the past and what I need in order to guarantee it to run well, I need to run at least 10 level 3 Digimon, and unfortunately there's only one level 3 Digimon that is hybrid, and that is Flamemon. And as of right now, they haven't released any teasers of having any new hybrid Digimon in the Digital Shambhala expansion, so I'm quite literally stuck with him. And yeah, that is pretty much eating up a lot of the name requirements in my deck. If there was any other Digimon that was level 3 that had hybrid, that would be amazing, but unfortunately there just isn't, which really sucks. So yeah, along with those 10, I'm also running 4 Agunimon, the dual color from BT18. I'm pretty much running the entire BT18 red Digimon lineup here. We've also got Casimon, Zephyrmon, Kumamon, Korekakumon, and Burning Greymon. Now, thanks to all this, so that is 5, 6, 7, and we also have Emperor Greymon for 8, and we can even count Susanoomon himself as a 9th Digimon with a hybrid trait with a different name. So it is technically possible for me to play him with Assembly, but it will be very much down to luck of the draw, because I am only running 2 of 4 different Digimon just so I can have just enough in order to get him on there. But that really isn't the main strategy. That's more of a comeback mechanic. If the game drags on, I might be able to pull it off eventually, especially since I'm running the BT18 Zoe or Immortal here. She'll allow me to discard 1 hybrid card to draw 1 card, which plays very nicely with the new Tomi, Takuya, and Zoe from 81, which is a triple tamer that can recover things from the trash to put under themselves to get us a card and get us memory. So pretty cool. But my main strategy to get him onto the field is going to be to abuse the option card Lord of Devastation and Rebirth. As you can see here, it is a pretty powerful card, but it does have a cost of 6, but it says we can ignore its color requirements. We don't care because it's a red card and all of our Digimon are red, as well as all our tamers. But main, whenever Digimon or tamers, the tamer part will never come into play with this particular version of Susanoomon, because he does not have any ability to Digivolve from trainer, so that's kind of lost. But may Digivolve into Susanoomon in the hand or trash, super important there, without paying the cost. Then, by placing up to 4 of your tamers with different colors as one of your Susanoomon's bottom Digivolution cards, gain 1 memory for each placed card. Now, what we see here is that we can Digivolve our Emperor Greymon once we get him onto the field with this into Susanoomon, and then if we have any tamers on the field, we can place them underneath in order to recover 1 more memory, leave our opponent with slightly less memory for the blowback. But in this deck, I am only running 2 trainers, as I just told you, the triple tamer of Tomi, Takuya, and Zoe, along with the Zoe from BT18, from that very same set. So and how do we get this guy if we don't have any level 5 Digimon? Yep. That is by abusing the next option card in my little deck here, Wind into Flame, Ice to Sword. As you can see here, you may place up to 5 hybrid trait cards with different names from your hand or trash under one of your tamers. It says up to, so we don't need to put anything there. If they already have 5 cards underneath them, we can just go straight to Digivolution. But this was useful when we had the old Ace Susanoomon that could Digivolve on top of a trainer that had 10 or more hybrid cards under them. I don't think I ever did it on top of a trainer. It just never came up. The trainers were just way too slow. You required multiple copies of trainers onto the field. It was just not a good idea. But then one of your tamers with 5 or more cards under it may Digivolve into Emperor Greymon in the hand or trash, ignoring Digivolution requirements and without paying the cost. So if we are, let's say, turn 2 or turn 3, and we now have, let's say, 4 cards underneath our triple tamer, and we draw 1, we can just stack it underneath with this, evolve into Emperor Greymon, and Emperor Greymon is pretty much a very He's a very scary monster to get, well, Digimon to get out on turn 2 or 3. So not only can he evolve from Takuya with 5 hybrid trade cards under him, which they can get pretty easily, although it's not guaranteed everywhere, but it's an option. And he does evolve from the he does evolve from the 3 colors, but the important part is this: when Digivolving, for each color in this Digimon's Digivolution stack, crash any one Digivolution card from your opponent's Digimon and suspend one of their Digimon. Then this Digimon may attack. So you can probably see where this is going. Zoe, which is one of our 2 tamers, and is red, has red and green. So just by her alone, we can trash 2 cards from our opponent's Digimon evolution stacks and then exhaust 2 other Digimon. But we'll more than likely want to do it on our triple tamer, which means it's 3 cards, and that means we can pretty much leave a Digimon at that stage of the game without any cards, then exhaust them, and then pretty much use his attack to basically wipe him out. This allows us to use his second effect. When this Digimon deletes your opponent's Digimon in battle, it gains security attack +1 for the turn and unsuspends. Yeah, so this, along with Zephyrmon here, whose inherited effect is to grant a piercing. This means we are playing him, attacking one of their Digimon without any defense. We destroy it, deal 1 damage, then he gets up and gets security attack +1. And if you see over here, the triple tamer also says that end of your turn once per turn by attacking with this Digimon with the hybrid trait, with Emperor Greymon does have, or 10 Warriors trait. I don't think it'll matter anymore. It gains security attack +1 for the attack. So not only did we deal 1 piercing damage with our Emperor Greymon, but he is now getting a +2 security attack with his final attack on the end of the turn thanks to the tamer. So we have now dealt 4 damage to their security. Add on to that any random attack from a level 3 Flameon that gets through, and they now have 0 security, and they now need to set up some defenses in order to stop us. So pretty nifty deck, although it is very combo heavy because we need 2 of those cards, and as well as having Susanoomon in the graveyard, a lot of Devastation and Rebirth, having enough cards, and yeah. But it's a pretty fun deck if you can pull it off. So what are the 8 Digimon that are in this deck that have different names so that we can actually use Susanoomon's Assembly 9, which is, well, Assembly -9, which requires 8 cards. So first we have 3 different versions of Flameon. As I explained earlier, he is the only level 3 hybrid Digimon in the entire game. I wish there were more, but that is just what we are stuck with. All of them have the effect of searching the top red... Well, no, 2 of them have the effect of searching the top 3 cards for a red hybrid card and a tamer and put it in our hand. And the other one that's pretty much more detailed has the ability to tap, exhaust himself, and play a tamer from our hand for free and then being placed under him. And as you can see, he has the effect of granting that Digimon +2000. So that combined with the triple tamer that gets stuff onto the field, that means on our turn we now have 3 cards under it, and at the beginning of our opponent's next turn we can have already 5 cards ready in order to either evolve Emperor Greymon or use Winter Flame Master Sword to get him out onto the field very, very quickly. Then of course we have Agunimon and we have Burning Greymon. These are at 4 of each, precisely because they also have the color purple. As you can see, neither our triple tamer nor our Susanoomon have the color purple in them. So this increases the strength of Emperor Greymon and Susanoomon's abilities. Very, very strong. This deck is only missing black in its colors. And I thought about it, but there is just no way to... Well, there is a way to run them, but it's really extremely bricky. They don't share any color with Tomi, Takuya, or Zoe. Everything here is red, so there really was no way to safely run black in this deck. But anyway, moving along, we have 2 copies of Kazemon, 2 copies of Zephyrmon, Kumamon, and Korikakumon to finalize our 8th and 9th Digimons with different names with hybrid. So this is what I'm currently running. I still need to find myself some copies of Tomi and Takuya there, because over here in my area, we only managed to track down 1 copy in all of our Facebook groups and everything. And yeah, it seems like this expansion just did not arrive in our area, so I need to get them off of eBay, unfortunately. But everything else should be easy to get. Everything else is either super rare. I believe Korikakumon is, yes, super rare. Everything else is either rare or common, save for the Susanoomon that isn't out yet, and the Emperor Greymon, which is a super rare. And yeah, that really is all there is to say about this new Susanoomon, which is absolutely insane. I don't know how he works with the Shambhala trait, but yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of the cards in this expansion have the Shambhala trait. Or maybe not, maybe I'm just imagining things. But anyway, yeah. Thank you for watching for our very first video where we are discussing randomly a card in a casual manner, and we will see you next time when some other news shows up for some other game, or maybe when we talk about the old Nordic card game and how it will compare to the new one once we get more information. But anyway, later.